What's going on, everybody? This is Sergey from MMA Soap Opera, and we are just a couple of days away from UFC Fight Night in London, headlined by none other than Leon Edwards and Sean Brady. I actually think that that's one of the better cards of 2025 so far, and I would like to go through a couple of matchups that I'm particularly excited about, but also I would like to discuss this bullshit conversation about Tom Aspinall and Jon freaking Jones. But before we do any of that, guys, do me a favor and make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. We're talking about UFC, MMA, all the drama that is happening in the background. Fun stuff, fun stuff. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. Alright, let's maybe talk about the Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall situation, shall we? Of course, Jon Jones, a massive legend of both the sport and the UFC, widely considered the best fighter of all time. He's only a couple of fights away from retiring from the sport, and he's trying to make the best moves forward so that he doesn't hurt his legendary career, all while doing absolutely everything that does exactly that. I just feel like this attitude towards Tom Aspinall and this potential fight is absolutely something that people are gonna hold against him for quite a long time. And I think that this is something that people are gonna remember. That you didn't retire gracefully, that you absolutely didn't retire an undisputed champion, meaning no freaking interim champions, which Tom Aspinall is. And not just the fact that Tom Aspinall is an interim champion, he even defended the interim championship. Like, this situation is absolutely nuts. You know, I used to study graphic design, and whenever I was doing presentations of the projects that I was working on, I used to get the same feedback. Whenever I'm making a presentation, it's the beginning and the highlights of the presentation in the beginning, as well as the absolute end of the presentation, are the most memorable two parts of the whole presentation. And I truly believe that that applies in MMA as well. I do think that people, of course, are going to be thinking about the achievements of Jon Jones, but they're also going to be thinking about how exactly he left the sport. And he's gonna leave the sport as a disputed heavyweight champion that did absolutely everything to prevent fighting the next rightful contender. And yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, there was the situation where Ankalaev, of course, defeated Alex Pereira. I'm willing to bet my money that the whole freaking UFC was hoping that Alex Pereira is going to win so that they can make some extra bucks putting Alex Pereira and Jon Jones together. Maybe not directly, maybe they would try to use Alex Pereira as a way to entice Jon Jones, you know, to fight Tom Aspinall first and then get Alex Pereira as a bonus, if you will. But no, Alex Pereira lost and Ankalaev is now the light heavyweight champion of the world. And what did Ankalaev do? He went to Twitter and he wrote this: "Johnny Steroid Machine was very disappointed I beat Alex. Please fight Big Tom. Stop running." And you know what Tom Aspinall did afterwards is that he replied with the handshake emoji. So now a lot of people are speculated that maybe these two guys are agreeing to fighting each other. I think that that's kind of ridiculous. In my opinion, what is happening right now is just that Tom Aspinall is really happy that another fighter, another champion is kind of standing on his side and loudly speaking out against Jon Jones. Well, that is at least how I understood the situation. Jon Jones, of course, is now talking about this crazy stipulation, another stipulation that he needs 6 freaking months to prepare to fight Tom Aspinall. Honestly, I'm starting to feel a little bit of a deja vu. Do you remember the situation with Conor McGregor and Michael freaking Chandler? The fight was supposed to happen so many freaking times, but this one guy always had some sort of an issue. Yeah. To me, Jon Jones and Conor McGregor are on the same level, to be honest, right now. I'm very skeptical that this fight is ever going to happen. I feel real bad for Tom Aspinall because I feel like he's wasting his absolute best years in the sport. And I think that if UFC is not gonna log this fight anytime soon, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he was demanding that Jon Jones was stripped of the belt. And if he wasn't stripped of the belt, like, honestly, I would just straight up start talking about leaving UFC because this shit is disrespectful. So please, Jon Jones, either accept the fight, even if it has to happen in 6 months, but just accept it, or just leave. Just leave. You're holding up a whole freaking division and you're hurting a career of another fighter, of a fighter that absolutely does not deserve that. Alright, so we are on the brink of UFC Fight Night in London, headlined by Leon Edwards and Sean Brady. Listen, I think that this is a really great fight. I know that there was a little bit of a shuffle, that Leon Edwards was supposed to fight Jack Della Maddalena, but This fight is great as well because these two guys lost only to the champion. The champion, of course, being Belal Muhammad. Depending, of course, where Shavkat Rakhmonov is with his health right now, I do believe that the winner of this fight is gonna fight for the belt next. But yeah, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. Honestly, I'm favoring Leon Edwards in this fight. I do believe that he fought similar styles before and he was pretty successful against them as well. I do think that, for example, both Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman are better wrestlers than Sean Brady. And Leon did pretty well against those two guys, you know? And I also believe that Leon Edwards is way better striker than Sean Brady. So, in my opinion, this fight, it's all gonna come down to where Leon Edwards is with his mental right now. If Belal Muhammad somehow managed to break him and make him second guess himself to continue being this passive fighter who is just not doing anything in the cage, if that happened, then Sean Brady could win. I do believe that Sean Brady could outgrind the Leon Edwards that fought Belal Muhammad. But if Leon Edwards is gonna be on top of it, I do believe that he could get a late TKO, but probably a decision win. Then another fights on this card are looking pretty damn good. Jan Błachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. So in my previous video, I think it was the previous video, I was talking about how Jiří Procházka should wait and look at this fight because I do think that the winner of this fight should fight Jiří Procházka next. And that fight could potentially be a title fight eliminator. This is a great fight. Carlos Ulberg, of course, is on the roll right now. He's the young prospect. And then Jan Błachowicz, you know, he's a beast. But the thing with him is that he's getting old. His last fight was against Alex Pereira in July 2023, which, dude, that's approaching 2 years, and that is definitely not good when you're 42 years old. I think that this is his very last run for the belt. If he's gonna lose this fight, I do believe that he could potentially hang it up. But this could be a great fight. We'll see how it's gonna go. I do think that Jan Błachowicz is, of course, obviously way more experienced, but the power that he has, I do believe that he could potentially get a KO of Carlos Ulberg. Then we have a bunch of other fun fights on this card. For example, Gunnar Nelson, who's gonna go against Kevin Holland. So Kevin Holland is not doing really well, and credit to him, he is turning around quite quickly. I think his last fight was when? It was in January 19, so 2 months ago. Like, that's a pretty good turnaround, and he needs to get not just a great performance, but also a great finish in this fight. If he's gonna look like shit, I think that this is gonna be the last time we're gonna see Kevin Holland on the main card. Molly the Meatball McCann, she's one of my favorite fighters to watch, not because she's this super amazing fighter, it's her personality, man. I think she has a pretty infectious energy. And then, dude, the prelims look great as well. We have a return of Jay Herbert, Lorna Kavanagh, a massive prospect from UK. Then Martin Tybura is coming back. Crazy that he's now in prelims right now. Like, those are some pretty damn good fights. I think that this card overall has a really good potential to becoming one of the best cards of the year, of course, depending on how it's gonna perform. But yeah, I do feel really good about matchups on this card. But what do you guys think? Are you looking forward to any of these fights? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm really curious to know. But yeah, this is it for today's video. Guys, once again, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. I really hope that all of us are gonna enjoy this UFC Fight Night in London. Thank you very much for watching this video. This was Sergey from MMA Soap Opera, because that's what it is.